asking
No,
why
no,
the
no, no, no.
city's
No, 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 no,
right?
no.
We're excited, and I believe we are united to move forward San Benito.
No, 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 no. Let's back up.
San Benito's Mayor Rick Guerra is all excited. Look behind him. There's a sign with a blown-up fathead version of the city manager's face. On Facebook, politicians and some city employees showed their support for Freddie, holding up more fatheads after the meeting.
Let's back up.
The commission insulted its taxpayers that night by refusing to answer allegations Sandoval was clearly funneling entertainment contracts to his longtime friends without competing proposals. The contracts are a matter of public record, but we're glad the mayor is excited.
We're excited.
Wonder if he's excited, too, to learn that just 5 days before that town meeting, Sandoval agreed to pay $300,000 in damages for cheating the Sylvan Learning Center. He owned Sylvan franchises in McAllen before getting the San Benito job. Or maybe the commission does know and simply doesn't care that when they hired Sandoval, their manager was being sued by Sylvan Learning Center for stealing from them. Exhibits in that Sylvan Learning Center lawsuit are public record too, accusing the San Benito City Manager of hiding $1.6 million of revenue.
As a principal and in education, I strongly recommend Sylvan.
Sandoval had opened those franchises in McAllen and was making a living off of federal U.S. Department of Education IDEA grants to schools. A Sylvan audit uncovered Sandoval's deception.
Item 3C, we're going to go ahead and motion to move to enter agreement with Mr. Fred Sandoval with terms discussed in executive session.
The controversial city manager was hired by San Benito in October of 2023. Remember when we first asked Sandoval when he was moving to San Benito as required under law? He lost it.
Are you planning to move?
No,
Never?
never.
Sandoval later apologized to the commission and promised to move, declaring his love for San Benito.
I love San Benito, Mayor. Don't forget that. Would y'all like a taco?
But surveillance we did in late January proved Sandoval hasn't moved. The mayor and commissioners are just knowingly violating the charter. As a response, Sandoval is now using the city Facebook page to call me names, a clout chaser, someone looking for fame in the Rio Grande Valley, an out-of-town blogger, peddling noise. Ooh, that stings. But Sandoval kept losing his cool. At least he knew then exactly what I did for a living.
Well, aren't you an investigative reporter? Why don't you investigate the facts?
Freddie, that's exactly what we've been doing here in our Houston headquarters. And you know what we found now? You're not just handing out government contracts to your drinking buddies. It turns out you're deeply in debt. Never a good thing for a public official running a city.
Never?
Never.
Public records from the Secretary of State show you created a company called Ren Rider back in 2015 to run those Sylvan Learning Centers, right after you had resigned as city manager of FAR.
Let's back up.
Your company, Ren Rider, borrowed more than $2 million. Sandoval signed a $650,000 promissory note with Educate South Texas. I'm sure those politicians in San Benito, when they were checking Sandoval out, saw that he was getting sued by them. It's easy to find that kind of stuff right on the Hidalgo County website. Sandoval had a much bigger loan, $1.4 million from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Yes, federal taxpayers loaned his company money too, and public records show Sandoval cheated U.S. taxpayers.
Because I love San Benito.
In August of 2020, the bank that financed the SBA loan told Sandoval he was in default. He had stopped paying and owed nearly $1.1 million still. In early 21, Sandoval sued the bank in Hidalgo County Court at Law Number 2, trying to stop the bank from foreclosing on 2 properties Sandoval had used to secure those loans. It didn't work. The property on North Flag Street was eventually taken from Sandoval, and he agreed to pay a federal judgment of over $1 million.
No.
Texas Secretary of State records we saw show Sandoval amassed $430,000 in federal tax liens. We do not know if he still has them, but the timing shows Sandoval got in real money trouble with the government early in the COVID crisis, when kids weren't going to places like Sylvan. That's curious. Maybe Sandoval should be sympathetic with the developers of that Resaca Village shopping center who blame COVID for the delays, but he clearly hasn't been.
Whatever.
Okay, I'm just telling you. The city has now ignored judges' orders to let them finish the project, spending tax money on appeals. The company told us the city of San Benito has lost $250,000 in potential sales tax revenue, while the final building at Resaca Village just rots. That's some smart governing.
Yeah.
So is deciding to spend millions on a concert venue at the fairgrounds without putting the contracts out for bid.
Yeah.
The city doesn't want us, and thus you, to see if we even got bids for the Resaca Festival last year. At the last meeting, the city approved another contract with Sandoval's longtime buddy, Roy Garcia.
Where's Roy? Give us something real quick.
Demolition at the fairgrounds to prepare for that music mecca that Sandoval envisions. Carpe Knox Industries was organized by another guy named Raul Garcia. Court records show he's been sued multiple times for fraud, something you'd think you'd want to check out. Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez was one of the people used as references when Sandoval submitted his resume for the job in San Benito.
So did the city of San Benito ever call you and ask for a reference when they hired him?
No.
We got reaction to the court judgments showing Sandoval is up to $1.3 million in debt.
No, all of this is a revelation to me. Didn't have any idea about that.
Maybe that's why Sandoval can't sell his homestead in Far and actually move to the town he represents. Sandoval had references from 3 high-profile public officials on that application, including Rudy Corona, who is now on the San Benito School Board.
Wow, I did not know that.
Okay.
Thank you for informing me.
Corona says he only met Freddie once in his entire life before he got the job.
I wouldn't be able to tell you much about him because I don't know much about him.
Did the city of San Benito ever call you saying that you were one of his references?
No, man.
With that trail of financial problems, cheating Sylvan, another company, federal taxpayers, and a bank too, how could Sandoval get a new loan on a new house?
Oh wow, this is serious stuff, and certainly I was unaware of any of that.
Of course, thanks to San Benito, Sandoval is now making about $250,000 a year. He's been executive director of the San Benito Economic Development Corporation since October of 23. The formal contract began January 18th. A week later, just a week, this guy was made attorney for the EDC. Michael Prunetta, he's the lawyer that tried to block us from seeing EDC financial records for months.
It's Wendell Trevino.
I'm not taking any questions right now.
We met Prunetta last month. He was the lawyer trying to help the EDC evict Varco from the Resaca Village shopping center. He lost. He was also fighting us.
We asked for the EDC ledger and you won't give it to us.
Yeah.
Doesn't the public have a right to know this stuff? Doesn't the public have a right to see these records? What are you hiding?
But we've now discovered a real conflict of interest from Mr. Prunetta that needs to be explained. It turns out when Prunetta got hired by the San Benito EDC, he had been the longtime personal attorney for Fred Sandoval. He was the lawyer in Sandoval's fight with Sylvan Learning Center. And Sylvan's lawsuit even calls Prunetta out for helping Sandoval breach his contract. I wonder if he mentioned that when he got the gig in San Benito, making $5,000 a month. And he's been one of the main lawyers in that increasingly expensive shopping center fight. The Prunetta law firm billed the EDC over $100,000 so far. The firm in total made $152,000 from the EDC, one of the biggest bills they have. It's fair to ask, was the Prunetta government contract some kind of payback, a reward for helping Sandoval, because he's in so much trouble? Something else that should have been made public by Sandoval.
There's a fundamental misunderstanding about public service that fuels the us versus them mentality.
Mayor Guerra, Commissioner Goodman, Commissioner Morales, you're all on the EDC Board of Directors. You obviously support Sandoval's decision to hide his text messages from us, despite our threat to sue to get them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sandoval. I know you don't have a whole lot of time running the city of San Benito.
We don't know how much San Benito taxpayers paid for this slick new video hailing Sandoval, or who wrote the script, but it's becoming clear his plans will have a big price tag with city funds. Potentially millions on that fairgrounds concert venue. But Sandoval leaked his bigger plans for that area too.
It's going to be a retail project, a huge retail power center with an amphitheater as an anchor.
Taxpayers should know who's been asked to submit proposals. I'm no developer, but if there are only 20 planned concerts a year, how will retail survive when the music isn't playing? Why isn't the City Commission and EDC talking about that giant project in detail, publicly, to the people who will pay for it all? Financial records the EDC has finally released after months of lawbreaking shows the city is still wasting tens of thousands of dollars in tax money in the wake of that failed Epicenter deal. That was another planned entertainment mecca surrounding a hotel and convention center that never happened. Isn't all of this the kind of thing a private developer should be working on with their money? Sandoval's puff piece on Facebook, it allowed taxpayers to comment. Sorry, damage has already been done. And that was even before we reported Sandoval was compromised with power. Maybe our next report should be for the City Commission, called Delusional with Power, because the hits, they keep a coming.